Hi, this is the Data Science Retreat Whiteboard Sessions channel, and today we are going to go into something that happens quite often. People ask me, but what does a data scientist do in a company, really? How does a company benefit from having data scientists, right? And of course, different companies benefit in different ways, but this is a very good one, and I wanted to ask Jesús how he did what he did at Flixpass so that the company is making millions because of this system that is in production right now, right? So this is how data science can make a company millions. Right? Okay, so tell us.
Yeah, I mean, roughly speaking, right, I'd like to introduce what is FlixBus, right? It's the biggest bus transportation system for intercity connections in Europe, and is expanding very, very fast, basically worldwide, right? So it's a bus company, and the idea is, or the things in which I am working together with my colleagues, is on the revenue management system, right? Revenue management is necessary for a company, a transportation company. You have it in airplanes, you have it also on train systems. Basically, the idea is that you have to optimize to decide which prices to charge to your customers so that they are not too high, because then they will be offended and will not come anymore. But also they should not be very low, because otherwise the company, of course, doesn't get the revenue.
Okay, so if I understand this right, Flixpass doesn't own any buses. In that way, similar to Uber and all the others.
Correct.
So you basically find people who have buses and give them routes and tell them how much to charge, and they use an app, and that's how.
Yeah, it's like a platform that third-party companies can use in order to make. I mean, everything is managed pretty much by FlixBus.
Right, and it's now in the US, in Southeast Asia, and other places.
Yes, and expanding very quickly. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so this is basically what I am working at FlixBus, revenue management system, which requires, I mean, roughly speaking, two different components. In order to be able to know how much price you have to charge to your customers, first you have to know how many of those customers will come. So you really need a forecast, right? You need a forecasting system that's given your historical sales, then you should be able to predict somehow what kind of demand you will have in the future. And based on that, then you have to run some optimization according to the set of price points that you have, so that you allocate a number of seats for every price, and then depending on how the demand is coming, this thing is managed somehow.
Yeah, and this was done by humans so far, right? Before.
Yeah, this is typically something that is done by the so-called GL managers, right? So they are people which are specifically trained to look at the development of the rides, of the different lines in the network, and according to basically gut feelings and their experience, right, and lots of experience, I would say, then they have to make the decision to make the prices more expensive or less expensive. This is done in a very manual way, pretty much that's the usual scenario.
Right. And then what happens is that the decision maker says, okay, this is working, let's take over the world, let's take another country. And they go to another country and then need another set of GM managers, and they have to hire them. Sometimes they cannot, because it's not that easy to hire this profile. So they have a bottleneck in their growth, which is hiring GM managers, right?
Yeah, correct.
Very interesting problem, right? So now, if somebody could take away this problem.
Yeah, I mean, essentially that's the selling point of automating all these things, right? To make the system, or to make FlixBus scalable, right? So to be able to open new lines in different parts of the world without having to wait to train new GL managers, something that is a process that takes quite a lot of time and effort, and often is simply not possible to achieve because there are not enough people for doing this job. So automation of this kind of work was one of the first priorities of the company, and it makes sense, right?
Right. So you as data scientists have to find a use case that sounds so good to the decision maker that goes like, tell me more, right? So this is exactly that, right? They have a problem, you identify the problem, or somebody in the company identify the problem, and then you pitch it to them, and for them it's a very easy yes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're telling me that I don't have to hire these people anymore as much as I need now, and I can expand faster. where do I sign, right? So,
correct. Yeah, that's the whole idea. I mean, when I joined FlixBus, the decision was already taken. It was already clear, and it was actually a very nice thing to see that FlixBus was very much into investing in this kind of data science solutions. Something that is not very often among many even big companies, but FlixBus is one of those jewels in which you can find this kind of attitude.
mm-hmm.
And they're actually not just the team where I work, but other teams
Mm-hmm.
working on data science problems and solutions.
But if you heard the previous video, Jesus was doing actual small videos to explain what data scientists do inside the company. So that you may have created that, or you may have contributed to that attitude in the company to be favorable towards data science.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's it's not enough to have the first intention of the stakeholders or the managers to invest on these kind of solutions, but then the data scientists have to demonstrate that solution is valuable, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that was pretty much one of the first missions that I encountered when I joined FlixBus. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so far so good. I mean, it's working pretty well.
Okay, and then you said I can do this, and then there was a team of other people who left kind of at the same time. And you stayed alone, like.
Yeah, I mean, not exactly alone. I mean, there are many people around me, but of course, it was obvious that company had to invest in new data scientists. So I had to spend a lot of time in recruiting new people and also like building a new team, which is in charge of part of the revenue management system. So essentially, the idea was to take the revenue management system, automate it, right? And then not only maintain it and make it work, but also like redesign it and think in future improvements of the system, right?
So you had to rewrite it so it scales to start with, right? So there was a prototype before.
Yeah, exactly. When I joined, it was something that was a working prototype, working in some of the few lines in the network. And then the idea is to make it scalable, to make it run in different.
Okay, so this is very important. So you had a prototype working that brings you the trust that you need to pitch something bigger, right? And then you got them to buy into, okay, let's do it for all lines, something like this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then some people told you are crazy, you cannot do this alone.
Yeah. But I mean, first of all, it's the idea of automating this kind of thing is something that you need a lot of domain expertise input, something that we got precisely from the GL managers, mm-hmm. which is also a bless, right? Like to have the collaboration of the people who is involved in this project, because ultimately this system is automating their boring tasks, so to say. Mm-hmm. So they will be like focusing on higher level tasks, right? And this was one of the selling points for the project in front of GL managers. So it's not about replacing GL managers; it's mostly about making them more productive, being able to focus on higher level tasks, and for sure, ultimately also to make the company scalable, right?
And scaling that part of the company means you can go to more countries, to more lines, so managers are very happy, and this is literally making millions to the company, right?
Yeah, essentially that's the whole idea of automating this thing, right?
Right. So next time that somebody asks you how does data scientist add value to a company, you can tell the story because it's a very obvious one, right? And it's not difficult to understand. It's a product that everybody understands, like buses, going to places and optimizing prices, right? And then you have a person who did it and telling you exactly what he did. Well, exactly, you didn't go into the details, but do you want to say anything about the system?
Well, I mean, quickly speaking, it's something that I already mentioned that you need this forecast part mm-hmm. and the optimization part. So you first learn from your historical sales, try to predict for the different scenarios in the future. And based on that, then you have to make a decision, how to allocate the different prices to the different demands. That's pretty much how the whole revenue management system works in here.
And this is a Spark, right?
We don't have specifically a Spark solution, but we have everything running in Kubernetes, so it's scalable because it's very modular and so on. So.
And you fit a model for every country, for every location?
Yeah, exactly. So the network is split into different sub-networks, so to say. And so every sub-network has, of course, its own particularities. And we model every demand scenario in different ways.
Uh-huh. You said that you use domain knowledge from these GL managers, right? How do you include the domain knowledge into the model?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you have to, when you model the demand, for example, when you try to model the demand to do predictions, there are many things that you can incorporate from what the yield manager may think about. For example, the seasonality. You have to include some features in your model. So the yield manager can help you like building the model itself. But what was mainly crucial for the contribution from them was mainly crucial for the optimization, right? How to transform this forecasted demand into something that can be put into the system that goes to the customer, right? That's where you have to get all these insights from the yield manager in terms of how fast should be the pace of changes of prices across the booking period and things like that.
So it's kind of intuitions that they have, like you hard-coded their gut feelings into the model somehow.
Yeah.
But this is not a Bayesian model that has priors or anything. So how did you actually tell the model, like, this is what the yield managers did?
Well, I mean, there are two things. First of all, the system that is now in place is pretty much an automation of what the yield manager does. And as such, the yield manager input was very, very important, right? So all this, the development of the system was very important to make it run. We are actually now working on a different version of the revenue management system, which is going to provide an optimization which is going to be, say, less with less human input. But still, of course, in any automated solution, the machine cannot be left alone, right? Always a yield manager or some other person has to overlook the machine, because there are situations that cannot be captured by the model, right, and by the automated system as a whole.
So some predictions go out of hand, like
or there are some special situations that the forecast cannot handle, or there are also some business strategical decisions that have to be included. Those are things that dynamically are included into the system, right?
For example, if there is a coup in a country and then the economy is going crazy, the system doesn't know that, right?
Correct. Or if there is, or if it's about managing a completely new market, of course, there are things that is not only about maximizing revenue. It's also about making it attractive in the first place and then try to expand from there. So these kind of decisions have to be done anyway by humans. So it's a combination between humans and the automation done by the machine.
Wow, that's very good. I hope you one day write a blog post or something or a video where you explain exactly how you combine the human gut feelings and the actual predictions of the model. That must be very, very good. Okay, guys, so this is it. This is an answer to this question, right? I hope you found it useful, and next time somebody asks you this question, you have one story at least to tell. If you want to do more of what we are doing here, look at DSR. We've been open for business for 6 years now. We are probably the most advanced course in Europe, maybe in the world, who knows. And I hope you decide one day to join us. Okay.